In this video, we're going to do an example using a switch statement. So we're gonna answer this exercise. Write a Java program to prompt the user to pick one of 4 prompts, then output an interesting fact about the option chosen. Use a switch statement, make the inputs case insensitive. Both upper and lowercase entries will work the same way. Okay, so this means that we have to make sure that we use that we're converting whatever the user enters into upper or lowercase and then testing against that. Because if in this case, if we say A, B, C, or D, we want the user to be able to enter an uppercase A or lowercase a either way, and the code should work the same. Okay, so we're going to do this in JDoodle. I'm just going to copy this so that we can, we'll put that in a comment in our JDoodle just so that we can remember what we're trying to do. I'm going to start with an example just to get my boilerplate done. And then instead of deleting my example, I'm just going to paste in the prompt just so that we have that here so that we can see that. Okay. Okay. So again, this is a comment. Anything that's in between the /* and the // that's just a comment. It just describes our code. It will be ignored by the compiler. I'm going to get rid of this boilerplate. Okay, so now we're going to need a scanner because we're going to want to prompt the user. So we're going to have to do an import. Okay, and then we're going to define the scanner. Using system.in so that we'll be able to read and write from the command line. Okay. Then we have the system.out.println that was part of our example. I just hung on to that just because I don't have to type as much. So the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to give them a prompt. Okay, so we're going to want to give them 4 options, and then we're going to give them an answer about the options. So let's say we're going to give them a menu A, B, C. Well, A, B, C, or D because we need 4 prompts, and then we're going to ask them to pick one, and then we're going to give them a fact about the thing they picked. Okay, so let's start by doing the prompt. So the first one will be A. Here, see a math problem. Okay, and we'll do system.out. I'm just going to copy that instead of typing all that over again. I'm just going to copy it 4 times and just change this. So for B, I'm going to say, let's change this to C, an addition problem. Let's change this to C, multiplication problem. Let's change this to say, option C will be to learn the name of the capital Texas. Okay, and option D will be see the star of a movie. Okay, let's say learn the star of a movie. Okay, so this is totally contrived, obviously, but the point here is that we want to experiment with the switch statement. Okay, so now we've got a prompt. The last thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to actually have them enter. Please select A, B, C, or D. Okay. And then we'll do a scanner. String input equals C.next. I've made a bunch of spelling mistakes there, so let's fix those. Inputs, scanners lowercase. The next line is lowercase. Okay, so let's run this. We've typed a bunch of code. We want to make sure we didn't make any syntax errors. Make sure it works. Okay, so we did not make any errors there. So now we've got A, B, C, or D. So in this case, we type A, we want to get an answer. Okay, we haven't coded that part yet, so we don't so we typed A, but it didn't do anything because we haven't written that code yet. So the code we've written is correct. So now we want to do a switch statement. So let's do switch. This is our switch statement. We're going to have our expression in parentheses, and then we're going to have our code block using the open curly brace. Okay, so this is my switch. And then I'm going to have a case here, and there's going to be a value. Okay, and then I'm going to have a statement, and I'm going to have a break. Okay, so that's what I'm going to code here. Okay, so let's do that. So my switch is going to be input. That's what I want to test. I'm going to test the value of input. So if input is equal to A, then I want to do this statement. Okay, so the statement is just a see an addition problem. Again, contrived example. What I'm really focused on here is how to write a switch statement. The actual content of the switch statement is less important than me practicing the syntax. System.out.println. In this case, we're doing an addition problem. Let's say 3 plus 3 equals 6. Okay. So let's run that and see if it works. So run. Want to make sure that we compile it. So make sure we didn't make any errors, right? And so we run that and we say, so we've coded the A value. So let's go ahead and put in A here. I type in uppercase A and I get my addition problem. Okay. Let's run that again because the prompt says that we have to make this case insensitive. So that means if I enter an uppercase A or lowercase a, I should get the same result. So if I enter a lowercase a, we've already tested uppercase A and it worked. If I enter a lowercase a, then nothing happens. My program is just going to end. Okay. So that didn't work. And it didn't work because input uppercase A is not the same as lowercase a. Okay. So I could do a couple of different approaches here. I could put a second case and test for lowercase a and lowercase b, etc. That would make my switch statement longer. What I can do also is just force the input value to either be upper or lowercase. And so I can do that by the input is a string function. It's got a built-in value called toUpper or toUppercase. And so I can just type it like that, toUppercase. Okay, so now the switch test is always going to test for uppercase value of input. So if I type in a lowercase a, it will automatically be forced to be uppercase for the test. Okay, and I have made a spelling error there. You need to put parentheses on that, I think. Okay, so I got an error because I did not. ToUppercase is a method that's built in the input, so I had to put the 2 parentheses at the end. So if you look at line 18, switch input.ToUppercase open close parentheses. Because ToUppercase is a method, a function that's built onto the string data type, you have to use the parentheses. So now if I enter a lowercase a, I should get the answer that I want. Okay, let's run it again. If I get an uppercase a, it should work just the same. Okay, great. So now let's go ahead and code the other values. Case B. We can just we'll just copy those because save ourselves some typing. This is a multiplication problem, so 3 times 3 equals 9. We can do another case C. That's going to be a learn the name of the capital of Texas. So let's just say Austin is the Texas capital. Okay. And then we can do our last one here, case E. I'm putting the break in each case. That's very important. You got to make sure the break is in there. System.out.println. I made a bunch of spelling mistakes there. This is learn the star of a movie. Let's just say Keanu Reeves, I think that's how you spell it, is in the Matrix. Okay. And then we put a break statement there. Okay. So let's run that and see if that works. We already know that our A value works, so we can do our B value. We get multiplication. Let's run it again and get Let's do C, uppercase C. D. Okay, so those work. What if we do something other than A, B, C, or D? So if I come in here and it says A, B, C, or D, and I put in a Z, what's going to happen? Well, nothing's going to happen, right? Because I didn't code anything for that. So I should put in a default case here on the switch, so that if it says if you type something other than A, B, C, or D, then we're just going to say system print line. That is not valid. Okay. So that way, if they enter something other than A, B, or C, D, they'll still get a message. Let's run that. So now if I enter something other than A, B, C, or D, so if I like enter a 6, then I'll get the default message. Okay. And so notice we did the uppercase on 6. The uppercase value of a digit is the same. So in that case, it's unchanged. So if I put in uppercase A and I'd use the 2 uppercase method on it, it just doesn't change it at all. Or a digit or something that doesn't have an uppercase equivalent, then this 2 uppercase has no impact. Okay, so that's an example of a switch statement.